What's up guys, my name is Daniel. I draw cards and turn them into 3D prints using HueForge, and I also do HueForge tutorials for all of you. Today we are going to talk about how you can get the details that you want out of your HueForges. This is a very common question whenever you're first starting out. Maybe you have a photo of a family or a family friend that you want to bring into HueForge and then you want to 3D print it. This is a very common use case for the application. Maybe you're a photographer and you want to bring your work to life for your clients. We're going to talk about how you can get those details out of your HueForges, but we're also going to talk about the reverse. Maybe you have a very simple cartoony type image and you don't need all that detail. You want to cut down on slice time. You want to cut down on how many layers you're printing. We're going to go over how you can do that as well, very simply and very easily. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. So in today's video, I'm going to assume that I'm speaking to mostly beginners that have never done HueForge before, or that have maybe tried out one or two images that they found online and thought it was just a really cool application. The most important thing that you can do when you're first starting out, especially when it comes to details, is measure the TD, or the transmission distance of your filaments. TD, or transmission distance, is a way for HueForge to give you a render of what your print is going to look like, and if your TDs are off, it's not going to look right. So let's say that you have a really detailed photo with a bunch of blending and a bunch of shadows and you really want to get those to pop. If you use a really low TD filament, that is a more opaque style filament, you're not going to get the blending effects that you see with a higher TD or a more transparent filament. Let me just back up a little bit. In the filament library, you will see a brand name and a color of a filament. You will see the color with a number in it. That is your TD value. Now, that number directly correlates to how many millimeters of filament you need to print before light stops passing through it backlit. So the lower the number, we'll say it's a TD of 1, that means that you only need to print 1 millimeter of filament before light stops passing through it. That's a very opaque filament. Now on the opposite side of the spectrum, let's say we have a 10 TD. A 10 TD is going to require you to print 10 millimeters of filament before light stops passing through it from behind as well. For our use case, that is a very transparent filament. Anything from like an 8 TD to a 12 TD filament is a very high filament, and it will give you a lot of shading and blending that you are probably going to want when you are doing these really high detailed photos or really high detailed projects in general. Now, when I typically explain this to newer users, their first thought is, okay, so we don't want to use low TD filament. That's not the case. I've explained this in a video on what kind of filament you'll want for HueForge. At the end of the day, you're going to want a mix of low TD, mid TD, and high TD filaments, because each project is going to have its own battles and challenges whenever you are doing filament painting. The low TD filaments are great for quick color transitions, whereas the high TD filaments are great for blending. So as you can see, you'll want a mix of both. It's not really one or the other. You'll want both of them. That's why behind me, up on my top racks, those are my more high TD filaments, and then below, those are my more matte style filaments. Those are very low TD filaments. That's so I can get a really quick color transition, or in other words, so that I can cover up a color very easily whenever I'm printing with it. So that's the first step in getting the details right in your HueForge project. You need to figure out the TDs of your filament, and I have an entire video on how to use the seashell test, which is a free 3D print that you can use, and a PDF that will tell you how opaque or how transparent your filaments are. It's a great tutorial, and I really recommend going and checking that out. Now, if you're somebody like me that has 50 plus filaments, printing out a test print over and over and over again that takes anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes can get a little tedious. And in that case, there is a little device called the TD1 or the TD1S that you can go purchase from BQ. I'll have a link for that down below in the description if you want to go check it out. When you're first starting out, I do not recommend getting this device straight out of the gate. I recommend going and trying the seashell test, making sure that HueForge is something that you want to do, because that device is definitely an investment whenever you are first starting out in HueForge. So now that we know about TD and how it affects the details within our image, we need to talk about the image itself. Not all images are the same, and if you pull an image off of Google, most likely that is going to be a JPEG. If you can, use a PNG because it has a lossless compression and it's going to be a higher quality image. Just know that whatever you put into HueForge is what's going to come out of HueForge. It's not going to upscale your photo. It's not going to make it look any better than what it is. So if you bring a pixelated picture into it, it's going to look like garbage whenever you try to go 3D print it. I see a lot of new people bringing in really bad images and are wondering why it looks so bad whenever they go to 3D print it. I mean, it's working with what we got. Now, we don't only have to work with PNGs or JPEGs. We can actually drag images in from something like Discord or straight off of Google if that is something that you are wanting to do. You can also actually bring in an SVG. Now, if you don't know what an SVG is, that is a vector style image, and that is a very low detailed image. It's not going to have a bunch of blends. It's going to be very flat whenever you go to print it. And like I said in the beginning, we're gonna talk about really high detailed images and very low detailed images. And we're gonna talk about what is the best way to set those up in HueForge so that you're not wasting a bunch of time printing and you're not wasting a bunch of time with slicing. All right, so now that you have your filament measured and you have your image that you want to HueForge, let's talk about the high quality images first, or high detailed, I should say. HueForges are printing at very low layer heights. We do this so that we can get a bunch of different blending effects in between different colors and so that we can get really good quality out of our 3D prints. The default within HueForge is set to 0.08 layer heights. If you're relatively new to 3D printing as well, you should know that most 3D prints are printed at 0.2 layer heights. That is a very drastic difference, and most 3D prints outside of HueForge are not going to print at 0.08 or lower as far as layer heights are concerned. But regardless, in HueForge, when you first open it up, the defaults are set to 0.08. That is a good middle ground for most 3D printers. That's why that is the default. Now, most of you watching this probably are printing with a 0.4 millimeter nozzle. That is the most common 3D printer nozzle on the market right now. And in testing, and in the 3 years that I've been printing with HueForge, we have been able to get all the way down to 0.02 layer heights on a 0.4 millimeter nozzle, depending on what kind of filament we're using. Reliably, you can get down to 0.04 layer heights. There are definitely some limitations, especially when we're talking about PLA. Silk PLA already has issues at 0.04 layer height. It's the TPU that they add to PLA to give it that silky finish. So I wouldn't recommend going all the way down to 0.04 layer heights. It's going to most likely clog up a hot end, and that's just a bad day. But most PLA on the market outside of silk will get down to that 0.04 layer heights reliably. And that's the first setting that you need to change within HueForge, is going from 0.08 layer heights to 0.04 layer heights. That is going to make a drastic difference whenever you are printing these really high detailed pictures. Now, I said that we could get down to 0.02, and some printers are capable of doing that with PLA. I personally haven't tested this, but I've definitely seen people that have. If you're using a filament like ABS or ASA, those can definitely get down to 0.02 on a 0.4 millimeter nozzle very reliably, very easily. So depending on what type of filament you're using, again, it is going to determine whether or not you can get all the way down to 0.02. But to be fair, that gives you some diminishing returns. Because when you go from 0.08 to 0.04, you effectively just doubled your print time, and even more so whenever you go down to 0.02. So just be sure that that is something that you want to do, because HueForges already take a long time to print, and this just makes it even worse. Now, something else that a lot of people question is whether you should use a 0.2 millimeter nozzle versus a 0.4 millimeter nozzle. And at the end of the day, that's really going to depend on what kind of project you're working on. Really, the only thing that I've ever seen 0.2 millimeter nozzles were useful for were very small keychain HueForges, or if you have a lot of small lettering like on a map or on a page of a book or something along those lines, like a comic book. Maybe you have a favorite comic book sheet that you want to print out. That is the use case for a 0.2 millimeter nozzle typically, but a 0.4 millimeter nozzle will get the job done for just about everything else. Now, in the same area of HueForge, we have detail size. Detail size by default is set to 0.2. What does that mean? If you see here at the bottom of your HueForge, you're going to see triangles and you're going to see a number next to it. With every 3D model, whether it is a HueForge, whether it's an organic model like a figurine, or if it's something that was made in Fusion, maybe it's a functional design, every one of those is made up of some amount of polygons. So when you see triangles at the base of your project, that is referring to how many polygons you have within your 3D mesh here. If I turn on wireframe, you can see that very easily, that this is the actual 3D mesh that your HueForge is made up of. Now, again, 0.2 is similar to 0.08. This is a default. This is where we found that most 3D printers could handle, and it made sense for most projects that are going to be happening within HueForge. So if I have a really detailed photo and I decrease the detail size to 0.1, you can see that the triangle amount increased significantly and the mesh just became a lot finer and has a bunch more triangles throughout. Now, if you've ever sculpted in something like Nomad Sculpt, ZBrush, or Blender, you'll know that decimating a mesh is a very important part of those, because you want to cut down on how many triangles and how much information in general is in your file. The less information that the slicer has to deal with, the quicker the slice time. It's a very important part of this. So detail size is basically doing this. We're able to either increase the detail detail, that's like your subdivision, or you're able to decimate a mesh and make it less detailed. That's a little bit more advanced. The vast majority of you doing more beginner style projects, 0.2 detail size is gonna be plenty for you. You can bring it down to 0.1, but just know that that is going to increase the file size significantly and can cause some issues in your slicer where you'll have up to 30-minute slice times. So your whole goal in optimizing a HueForge should be to increase that detail size from 0.2 to 0.3 to 0.4 without losing too much detail within your project. Some projects you're not gonna get around going with 0.2 or even 0.1, but most projects you can kind of decimate it and kind of get rid of a lot of triangles in order to make your project simpler and to make it easier in your slicer. This will also cut down on print time a little bit, not a crazy significant amount of time, but it will definitely help you out in the long run. It's gonna take a long time regardless, just because we're using such small layer heights. So just be aware that it's not really gonna cut down on print time, but you're gonna help yourself in the slicer, especially if you have a lower end computer. So that's where you can increase or decrease your detail size. Decrease the detail size for more detail, increase the detail size for less detail. So now that we've talked about the really high detailed stuff, let's talk about the really low detailed stuff. Let's go back to layer height. So if we have a very simple HueForge like the one shown here, where it's like a team's logo, or maybe you have something that's a cartoon character, you don't need all of that detail size. You don't need all of those triangles in your 3D mesh. You also don't need a very low layer height. So not only are you gonna wanna increase your detail size, you're also gonna wanna increase your layer height from that 0.08 or 0.04 to, let's say, 0.2 or 0.24 even. Because you don't wanna spend 10 hours printing out a basic logo or a basic cartoon because there's no detail there. It's all flat colors, there's no real blending there. It's not helping you in any meaningful way. So by increasing your layer heights and increasing that detail size, you decrease the size of the mesh and you decrease the amount of print time that you are going to have with these very simple projects. So to wrap this video up, just remember, if you have a very high detailed photo, you want low layer heights and you want low detail numbers. If you have a very basic and flat photo, you want to increase that layer height and you want to increase the detail size to decrease your amount of print time. I wanted to make a very quick and easy tutorial on how you can get more detail or less detail and how you can optimize your 3D mesh whenever you're doing HueForge. There are a lot of beginners that still have questions about how they can get really detailed results out of their HueForges and how they can optimize their meshes. So I figured just doing a short video to show you guys and walk you through how you can get those kinds of results out of HueForge would be somewhat helpful. These two settings are such a small thing that makes such a huge difference whenever you're doing your HueForge projects. I'd like to give a huge shout out to my Patreon and YouTube members. Without you guys, videos like this would not be possible. And if you're interested, I just opened up a Discord that you're more than welcome to come join, where there are other people that are doing HueForges and other really cool 3D printing projects. That's also where I'll be posting pictures and wrap-ups of all of my 3D printer builds and where you can find more videos easily. So if you have any questions, come check out the Discord and I will be more than happy to help you. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I hope you learned something.